3 words, 8 letters, 1 meaning. Let's go.
Came a long way sitting in a prison, thinking it was the only place that ever fitted. Now Michael Molthan with us, and you know we got the vision. This is not a competition, man, it's all about the mission. This is M to the rock, you don't stop. The show start on a weekday right at 7 o'clock. Mad Miles in the booth, we got Johnny on sound. Coach Julie the boss lady, let her know what's going down.
This is M to the rock that don't stop. The show start on a weekday right at 7 o'clock. Got the paparazzi, call him Danny Cambo with the pics. You can't pick, every one of them is gold. And that one young lady that wants you to be free. Everybody say it with me. Love you, Mama P.
All right. Gather round, gather round, gather round. Michael Molthan, M2 The Rock, coming to you live from Dallas, Texas, from Real News Network Communications. Today is March 21st. This is the second show. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's show. If you didn't catch yesterday's show, you can always go back to our Facebook page and catch it on replay and check it out. My name is Michael Molthan. I'll be your host today on M2 The Rock Radio. This show is about drug addiction. It's about alcoholism. It's also about hurts, habits, and hang-ups. It's about addiction. We talk about addiction. We talk about what addiction is and what it has done to me personally. And I share my personal experience, strength, and hope to provide solutions to the epidemic of addiction. We talk about treatment centers. We talk about all the ways. But my personal experience, I had a spiritual awakening like no other that has freed me from the bondage of drug addiction and alcoholism. But before we get into all that, I want to thank our sponsor, Recovery Unplugged. Recovery Unplugged is an inpatient treatment center out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Austin, Texas, Virginia, Nashville, Tennessee, and coming soon, this is what we're really excited about in Dallas, coming soon, Plano, Texas. It's going to be, I think, a 40-bed inpatient treatment center, Recovery Unplugged, where they use music. That's their hook to get people to come into treatment. And people, when they go to Recovery Unplugged, they don't leave. So they are endorsed by the great Steven Tyler, Richie Zuppa from Aerosmith, both of them obviously of Aerosmith, plus many more incredible musicians. Joe Nestor, one of the most followed people in social media today, is their national outreach coordinator, that you can message him and reach him. Fashion Stars for a Cause. It's coming March 29th in Dallas, Texas at Dallas Country Club. Sold out. It's sold out. So Fashion Stars for a Cause. We have been promoting Fashion Stars for a Cause for over a year now. And what is it? Fashion Stars for a Cause is an organization. It's a group that raises money for the Suicide Crisis Center of North Texas. And we talk about suicide a lot on this show. Suicide is a real deal. And we talk about solutions. We talk about red flags, warning signs, hashtags, stop minding your own business. And the official defense criminal attorney of M2 The Rock, Terry Bentley Hill, who actually will be on the show next week, is the MC for the Fashion Stars for a Cause. And oh yeah, yours truly, Michael Molthan, M2, will also be the MC at Fashion Stars for a Cause, March 29th at Dallas Country Club. DFW Coin and Jewelry, Kristen Oyster. I have to do a special announcement. He called me driving over here, okay? He is buying right now. He's a buyer. So if you have gold, diamonds, or anything, reach out to DFW Coin and Jewelry. Reach out to Kristen Oyster. He is buying right now. So I don't know if that's really good for a bunch of drug addicts and alcoholics watching the show. But if you're thinking about going back out, okay, before you sell everything, call Kristen Oyster. He'll lead you to me. I'll talk to you. He'll buy your jewelry, and then maybe you get, I don't know. That could be a whole different other show. But I tell you what, I used to spot and steal. I sold everything. I did everything I could to get my fix. But DFW Coin and Jewelry, thank you for being such an incredible sponsor of the show. Gangway Advertising, and of course the great the studio, M2 The Rock Studio. I love it. Zach, I love it. I like that angle right there.
That's a good one.
I like that angle right there. So, speaking of that, I'm going to be doing this a lot for the next week. Man, that picture's good.
Hey.
Y'all kind of know what you're doing around here.
It's like looking in a mirror.
Heck, y'all make this convict, this 4-time felon, look pretty good.
Hey, you make it easy on us. You're a little easy on the eyes.
Well, listen, we're super excited. The shirt that I'm wearing today is Marty Norman Live. I'm going to be wearing a lot of T-shirts from different shows that I've traveled the last year and been on. And these are people that I support, I endorse, I co-sign with them. These guys work an incredible program. So go check them out. Marty Norman Live and Brian Kendrick. They're from Terre Haute, Indiana. They have a sober living house for men up there. They're the real deal. They work an incredible program, and they continue to spread the message. Marty Norman, Brian Kendrick. They're on Facebook Live on Monday nights, Marty Norman Live show, and it's high energy, and it's goobers in recovery, and it's a lot of fun. Zach, you like podcasts. You like what we're doing.
I do, and Marty's good people. I met him once.
That's right. Oh, that's right. When they were in town, we came by Real News Network. That's exactly right. So Marty Norman Live and Brian Kendrick will be there. Let's do a rundown real quick before we get into today's topic, why everybody's logging on. And if you're catching us live, we thank you so much. Hit that share button on Facebook Live. Share this out so the message can be delivered for the one who is suffering, all right? It's kind of like if you're like, I have a friend or a loved one, I want them to understand about alcoholism and drug addiction. I don't know what to say. Share this out. Make that your service work. If you can't donate to our cause at M2381 or nonprofit foundation at m2therock.com, if you can't make that donation, make this your donation, okay? Be a part of the movement. Be a part of the team and say, listen, I'm a part of something really special. I am part of M2 The Rock. I'm going to share this post out and invite my friends to watch this show because it's about the message. This disease, Zach, kills people in the millions and in the numbers. And we're going to take recovery and save people by the numbers. And we do it one drug addict, one alcoholic at a time.
I love it.
But we don't only talk about alcoholism and drug addiction on this show. We talk about everything. We talk about gambling, sex, pornography, all the different things that become an addiction, because what I have learned in recovery is that alcohol is not my problem. Alcoholism is my problem. And alcohol is only a symptom. What does that mean? What do you mean alcohol is only a symptom? Alcohol for me was an outward expression of an inward problem. And so that's what we talk about in this show. What is your DOC? That's the
DOC. What's that?
DOC is the acronym for drug of choice. Okay. What is your GOD? Okay, that's the reality of the deal. Who's your God?
Yeah.
Who's your daddy? Okay? So who's your God? And my God for so long was drugs and alcohol. All right? And it goes into so deeper things that we can talk about on the show. We're going to talk about cross addiction. We're going to talk about replacing one addiction with another. Okay? Hey, I'm not drinking. I'm not doing drugs. But guess what? I'm shopping like a fiend. Okay, materialism is becoming my drug of choice. What is it that I'm using that's visible to try to change the way I feel to resolve what's invisible? You like that?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So I mean, that's my disease. That's what I do. So before we get into all that, we're going to talk about that today on the show. A God of my understanding. We talk a lot about 12-step recovery on this show, Zach. And what are the 12 steps? And the 12 steps are 12, ready? Suggestions. And that is the great thing about support group meetings that I have gone to. These men, once again, I'm very adamant about this. Men work with men. Women work with women. And the reason why that's so important in early recovery is I need to be with a man that can relate to the way I feel and what I'm going through. I don't need to be with a woman in early recovery that's going to be a cross addiction. This girl changes the way I feel, okay? Let's get sober together. No, that's not how it works. Two sick people getting together equals sick people, right? So I have got to go learn who I am first. I need to learn how to trust God. I need to clean up my side of the street, clean up all the wreckage of my past, and then go make amends to the ones that I have harmed. And then as a result of all this, I go spread the message. Once I do that, when a girl is placed in my life, okay, I've got something. I've got something. You know, before I just had a bucket full of lies. I had a bucket full of resentments, and I wanted a girl to co-sign on my pain. Okay? I need you, Miss Girly Girl, to change the way I feel, and I need you to perform for me, to tell me that I am good, tell me that I am worthy. I need you to be my God. And that's real talk. That's my pattern. Hey, Michael, you got a pattern. We see it coming. And that was always my pattern. So there are so many topics that we get to talk about on this show. And people go, man, you're talking 5 days a week? Baby, I could talk 7 days a week for 3 hours a time about addiction, because addiction is horrible. I mean, I was on a show in San Diego early this morning at 7 o'clock talking about marijuana, you know, and the effects it has on the brain, and it just goes nonstop. I want to emphasize, I got to throw a disclaimer out there. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer, okay? I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that. I am a recovering drug addict, alcoholic, and I share my personal experience, strength, and hope in order to help someone else. This show right here helps me. That's the selfish part of it. It helps me stay clean and sober, getting out of self, because I'm going through it right now, Zach. I am going through.
Oh, yeah?
I am. I'm the enemy, okay? And I understand this now. What is the enemy? Satan, the disease, the dark side, whatever we want to call it. It's on me. It is on me full force, making the change from iHeartRadio here. And God allows that to happen, okay, for me to get stronger, and it gives me the opportunity to go to Him or to go to dope. And my past experience, when I get in fear and I get uncomfortable and I can't handle the heat, okay, I want people to look at me and go, this guy can really handle the heat. And the way I do that is I'd go to alcohol and drugs. I go to alcohol and drugs to level out, okay? Remove the edge, knock the edge off, okay? I just got to knock the edge off, okay? And on Monday, I would knock the edge off, and I'd come home on Thursday, okay? Not normal, okay? That is addiction. My life was completely unmanageable. So much stuff that we can talk about on this, excuse me. So real quick, I want to run down next week. Are you excited? Next week is going to be, I mean, it's going to be ripped.
I'm stoked on it.
I mean, it's really going to be fun. Monday, we've got our special guest, Gary Cochran, from the DFW Behavioral Symposium on the 29th. Terry Bentley Hill and I will be speaking there. And actually, Recovery Unplugged is going to be one of the sponsors. Huge event on mental health, addiction, and all that. And Terry Bentley Hill and I will be keynote speaking at this event on March 29th. On Tuesday, we've got Margie Wright. She's the head chief at the Suicide Crisis Center of North Texas. She's going to be in studio. She's going to be in studio in the M2 The Rock studio, and we're going to be talking about the Suicide Crisis Center, the Fashion Stars for a Cause event, and she's going to share her personal story. And I'm just so glad she's back. She was going to be on our show a couple of months ago, but she took a really dramatic fall and was physically on injured reserve. And so I just was with her the other night at an event for Fashion Stars for a Cause, and she is a beast, and I can't wait. She's going to be on the show that's on Tuesday, March 26th. I have never, ever, let me stop here.
Yeah.
I haven't celebrated a birthday since 2009. Okay?
Wait, like anybody's birthday or just
my
yours?
birthday?
Oh, all right.
And there's been a couple of reasons. A lot of it is we don't do birthday parties in prison. Okay.
All right.
Happy birthday to Rabbit. Rabbit was my name in prison. Okay,
Really?
that's what they call me. Yeah, they call me Rabbit. But since I was incarcerated and in and out of jail and running and gunning, I haven't celebrated a birthday. Okay. This one's kind of got my attention for some reason. And this is the beautiful thing about recovery program and how we make amends and God just puts things back together. I got a text this morning from my mom, and that's a relationship that has been restored over the last just really the couple of months.
Oh, congrats.
And thank you.
Yeah.
And restoring my relationship with my younger brother. I had an incredible experience with him at the hospital while my dad was dying. And my dad's good today. He's in assisted living, but God's weird. He just uses weird situations to perform his work.
He's a kooky guy.
He is, but I love him. And so it's neat because my mom texted me this morning, and I haven't talked about this to Rachel yet, but she says, listen, I want to go out with you and Rachel on Sunday night to celebrate your birthday. I turned 50 years old on Monday.
Woo!
50.
50.
Dude.
Yes.
Boo, 50 Cent. 50. 50. 50. Can you say it? 50.
50.
50. I'm going to be 50 on Monday. I don't know why this one's got my attention, but anyways, I tell you, we talked about yesterday, when you're incarcerated, it preserves you. You're put like in a refrigerator.
Yeah.
And so I'll be 50 years old on Monday. I've had a lot of people already reaching out, so I'm excited about that. So we're going to go out. So anyways, Tuesday we got Margie Wright. Wednesday, check this out. You ready? Because this girl and I, we wreck.
Who's this?
Ashley Burgess,
Yeah.
the official licensed therapist of M2 The Rock Radio. So, someone like me, you have to have an official, the official licensed defense criminal attorney, Terry Bentley Hill, who will be in Thursday. So we got Monday, Gary Cochran, Tuesday, Margie Wright, Wednesday, Ashley Burgess, and then Thursday, my girl, the great Terry Bentley Hill. So Ashley Burgess and I, we were working on a topic of what we'll be talking about. We go, it's just awesome, the dialogue that we get going. And then also Terry Bentley Hill and I, it gets deep. When Terry Bentley Hill comes in here, get your Kleenexes. I'm just telling you, have Jeff Crilly, go ahead and get them to order Kleenexes, because when she comes in here, she is so transparent, so real, and I love this lady so much. And all these guests on the show, these guests that come on the show, I put them through it. And there's a criteria that they have to fit to be on the show, because we come on this show to talk solutions. We come on this show to talk a little bit about what happened to us and a lot of what's happening today and how God's working in our life, because that's what this show is about. We talk that G thing, baby. We do. We talk about God, okay? And we're going to talk about God today on the show. And I think this is a good time to go to commercial. When we come back, we're going to get into a God of my understanding here on M2 The Rock.
Three words, 8 letters.
You want to stop?
No, I just want you to sing.
Take a little time to draw the line, grab a bag of your favorites, moving time, you'll see. Get a little closer, pedal to the metal, all we need. Top down, shades on, racing now for speed.
My girl, cut. Rachel, I got to stop you for a second. Michael Molthan, M2 The Rock Radio with my girl, Rachel Stacy. We have got a special announcements for everyone in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yay,
Lexington, Kentucky, June 8th. Rachel, listen, I need you to do something for me.
Yes.
We need to pack the bags. You, me, Mama P. Mama P, we are going to Lexington,
there.
Kentucky. Lexington,
Mama.
Kentucky. For
She's
the
right there.
Blameless Children event.
Yes.
The Blameless Children event, Andrew Hager Live. We will be there on June 8th. Your headliner, the one, the only national recording artist, my girl, Rachel Stacy. You excited?
I am super excited. Andrew and crew, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be
I
awesome.
finally get to meet them.
That's
you
right.
know?
The Blameless.
Video stuff's great, but I like, touch people, say hi.
That's right. The Blameless Children, June 8th. We will be there. Mama P, M2 The Rock Radio, and my girl, the headline event, Rachel Stacy, national recording artist. So get your tickets now. Reach out to Andrew Hager Live and find out, what do we do? How do we help out? If you can't be there, make a donation in any sort of fashion that you can to help the blameless children, the children who are left behind as a result of this deadly disease of drug addiction and alcoholism. We love you. We can't wait to see you. Right, Rachel?
I can't wait. I'm excited.
June 8th, Lexington, Kentucky, the Blameless Children event. See you there.
Came a long way sitting in a prison, thinking it was the only place I'd ever fit in. Now Michael Molthan with us, and you know we got the vision. This is not a competition, man.
All right. What do you think about that? That's Rachel Stacy, national recording artist. I got pieces of my ear falling off. We're gonna get this down. That's okay.
We're
That's
gonna
what we
get
do
this
on this
worked
show. We're transparent, man. We just go with it.
Hey, who is that Rachel Stacey, and why haven't I heard more from her?
Okay, so here's the deal. So, in fact, Jeff Curley was just asking the same thing. And I have to remind everybody, this show is M2 The Rock. It's not the Rachel Stacey show. Are we clear?
I think so.
Rachel Stacey, that's my girlfriend. That is my girlfriend, and we are madly in love, and we are having so much fun. And she is in long-term recovery. And I thought I would never call someone truly a soulmate, and that's my soulmate. And we are having so much fun, and she's the real deal. I mean, she has toured with the likes of ZZ Top, Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, Alice in Chains. She toured with Big and Rich. She was their fiddle player. She's one of the most well-known fiddle players in the world. Really? Yeah. I mean, she's heading to Nashville to do some recording here next month, and she has donated her time to go to Lexington, Kentucky to perform at the Blameless Children event on June 8th for the Andrew Hager live show out in Kentucky, one of my closest friends. And what a great event, the Blameless Children, about the children who are left behind as a result of my actions, a result of my disease. What about the children? And I do. I have 3 boys that have been held hostage because of this disease, and bless their heart, they don't have a clue why I did the things I did and why I do the things I do. And I tell you what, they are the reason why I do this today, because I want them to see Dad's okay. I want them to see that Dad is making a difference, and I want them to see that Dad is trying to make a difference and leave this world a better place than the way I came in, because I had everything a wreck. I was a roaring tornado, you know, but that's what the Blameless Children is about. But Rachel Stacey, she's going to be on the show. We're working on that. We've had a couple of shows together, Relationships in Recovery. Okay, and so we met Zach at school when I was at iHeart. She was a guest on the show, and she came on, and she actually got transparent for the first time in the public eye about her disease, and she is going on her 8th year right now, her 8th year of sobriety. So she's got 7 years of sobriety. This year she'll have 8 years. She's got 12 years of Al-Anon. Oh man. Yeah. So Al-Anon that's a codependent group, you know, as far as if you're not a drug addict or an alcoholic, but you are a codependent, you have a loved one that's in the disease. What do? You go get help too, okay? Because it's a family disease, and they go to Al-Anon to learn. She went to Al-Anon, all right, and realized, I'm an alcoholic, you know, I'm a drug addict, and I'll let her tell her own story, but that's kind of the snippet. But we are having a good time, and she's a huge part of the M2 The Rock team, a great supporter. I actually see her in the feed today, that makes me feel good, and because she's a busy woman. She's a very busy woman. Congrats. And we're excited.
It's not easy to find somebody like that. She sounds real special. I can't wait to meet her.
You know what? It's a family disease, but also recovery can be family recovery when everybody's working towards the same thing. So, well, let's talk recovery today, and let's talk about some really good topics about, you know, what do we do in recovery? If you've heard recovery, like, you know, listen, I'm not going to do any of that recovery stuff. I'm not going to do any of those 12-step support group meetings, because listen, when I hear God, I'm out. When I hear God, I am out. I don't want any part of it. Okay? And I can relate. I was that guy. I was that exact same guy. Because when I hear the word God, when you hear God, what do you think of, Zach? What are some of just the key things that come to mind when I say God?
Well, I think the optimistic Zach says, you know, an all-powerful being, it's looking out for us. The pessimistic Zach says a kid on sitting with a magnifying glass on an anthill. But, you know, there's 2 ways to skin a cat, I suppose. What do you think?
I do. And I used to think when I heard the word God, I think of the word church. You know, so when I hear God, I think of church. Yeah. Okay? When I think of church, I get uncomfortable. And the reason why I get uncomfortable is because the church, and this is all me, they did nothing to me, okay? But the church made me feel bad. I always felt like the church was right and I was wrong, okay? And so I just disengaged from that, because my God of my understanding was always things that were visible, Okay? Invisible? No. So let's walk through this. So the first step of recovery is that we get honest, okay? We admit that we are powerless over alcohol and drugs or gambling, sex, work, pornography, whatever it is, whatever that one word is, okay, that has your life completely unmanageable and you're powerless over it, we put it in there. We get honest, okay? What it is I need help. I can't live my life without alcohol and drugs because I'm mentally obsessed with it. That's all I think about. That's all I think about, okay? All I think about is drugs and alcohol, and I need help. That's step one, okay? Once we do step one, this has nothing to do with God. Step one has nothing to do with God. It's not, you're not making a commitment to turn your life over to God or anything like that. It's just to get honest, okay? It's an opportunity to take the God of your understanding. For me, I took my God of my understanding, which was drugs and alcohol, and I put it aside for one day, maybe 1 hour, okay? Because it was made my life unmanageable, all right? The second thing is then I come to believe that there is a power greater than myself to restore me to sanity. Okay, you see how the 12 steps is kind of, they're sneaking up on me, okay? I'm like, okay, so what you're telling me is I'm insane, okay? What you're telling me is I have a disease, okay? And step two provides hope. Okay, so now I got a little hope. What does the word power mean in step two? The word power in step two means the group, fellowship, community. A lot of times people will go, listen, on step two, you know, just replace alcohol and drugs and put it in and worship a doorknob or worship a window. Whatever it is, just don't worship drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, okay.
I get that, but listen, for me, I'm going to go out and drink and drug again because a doorknob's not going to be there for me when I need help of my feelings, okay?
Right.
But I understand the analogy, but let's get, this show is about, we get to the roots. We're not going to water the leaves, we're going to water the roots, okay? So the power greater than myself to restore me to sanity is simply this. It's the fellowship of recovery. It's people in the group. It's the men that I want what they have, okay? So now I'm going to take some risk. Now, this is a very complicated process because my body is detoxing off of drugs and alcohol. As I've raised my hand, I've gotten honest, okay? There's a power greater than myself to restore me to sanity. I'm admitting I'm insane. I'm doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And then I got so sick, Zach, that I was doing the same thing over and over, knowing what the result is going to be. In 2002, I admitted myself into Betty Ford, the Betty Ford Center in California, okay? Yeah. And I went there and I did step 1 and 2, okay? I admitted that I was powerless over it, okay? I went, you know, my last, one of my many last runs, okay? I went to watch a Monday night football game and they came looking for me and didn't find me until Thursday, and I was in a hotel room trying to kill myself, okay? That's a disease. All right, so I made the decision I was going to go get help. And when I went to Betty Ford, I did. I raised my hand and I said, I am an alcoholic. I am a drug addict. I need help. All right, and I was there for 6 months. And I did not drink or use for 6 months because of step 2, because there was a power. It was a fellowship. It was all the men that I was living with, okay, at Betty Ford, that we were leaning on each other. We were working with each other and all of that. And as I was working with my counselor, you know, we were talking about step 3. And step 3 is simply this, which is the topic of our show today, is made a decision to turn my will and life over to the care of God as I understand him. There we go. They got me. They got me. They tricked me into this deal. It's about God, and this is a religious cult. It's not.
You've been had.
I've been had, okay? Recovery is not a religious deal. Recovery is spiritual, okay? And there's a big difference, okay? Spirituality is God, religion's man, okay? I cannot have the solutions of a sick man. I have to have solutions of a godly God. And how do I do that? God talks through people to me in the program, okay? So as we're coming at the end of this segment, I mean, I kind of want to tease this, Zach, because what I want to do is when I come back is I want to share my story on step 3. My step 3, the seed was planted in 2000, okay? It populated, it sprouted. That's the word. It sprouted in 2017.
Oh, wow.
And what happened from 2000 to 2017 was devastation, chaos. But now I look into it now, it was God at full speed work helping me build a story that I can sit here today and share with y'all to help the one that is suffering. Michael Molthan, M2 The Rock. We'll be right back.
Three words, 8 letters.
Hey, welcome to Recovery Unplugged. Today was one of the best days of my life because in recovery, I saw God here. I saw a bunch of kids that are going to take this program seriously because of Richie Super. It let the kid out. Woo, boy! And we are in Florida. Yes. No, this was actually very, very special for me because in recovery, the only way to keep it is to give it away. And today was just as beautiful gets.
And I want to thank you for doing that and witnessing what we do with music because it's been a part of everybody's life, you know. Like we said, the first thing you heard was your mama's heartbeat when you were in the womb. And that's music right there. So we're just taking it to the next step.
Yep. Music is, and we will prove here, the strongest drug of all.
Came a long way sitting in a prison, thinking it was the only place that ever fitted. Now Michael Molthan with us, and you know we got the vision. This is not a competition, man. It's all about the mission. This is M to the
all
rock,
right.
the rock.
Welcome back, welcome back. What do you think about that piece, Zach?
Two things. One, that was Steven Tyler, which is wild.
That is Steven Tyler.
And two, what was it he said? The only way to keep it is to give it away? I want to know what that's about.
The only way to keep sobriety is to give it away. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of working these 12 steps, in order to keep what I have is I carried the message. I carried the message forward, and when I worked the 12 steps, I got to learn who I was. I got to do an inventory of myself, and I get to see my assets. I get to see what I'm good at. I get to see what my purpose in life is. If you're watching this show and you are breathing on this planet, God has you here on this planet still for a reason, and that is to fulfill his purpose. He has a purpose for me. He has a purpose for you. And when we find the purpose of what God put us on this planet for, life is it's easy. We start carving through life, okay? And when we start carving through life and I start derailing myself from God's plan for me, which is a resentment, an anger, fear, worry. Yes. Guess what? It's painful. So I'm trying to get back on the beam. That's what we call on the beam. So how do I get back on the beam? I have to remember that in step 3, I made a decision to turn my will in life over to the care of God as I understand him. What does that mean? As I understand him, you know. So real quick before I get into special shout out, thank you so much, Recovery Unplugged, on that piece. You know, Steven Tyler, Richie Zupa. That's kind of a cool story. Richie Zupa, when I was down in Miami, Zach. Yeah. He saw that Rachel Stacey was on the show, and he actually said, "Hey, is that Rachel Stacey that was on your show?" And because Richie Zupa does a lot of songwriting for groups, and he wrote songs for Big and Rich, and he said, well, tell her I said hello because Rachel was the fiddle player for Big and Rich. Oh, wow. And so it was neat how all that put together. But it's amazing that a lot of their songs that they write is all recovery related. And it's amazing how a lot of songs out there are either in the disease or out of the disease, you know, when you're writing a song. So I'm getting to learn that as I'm listening to songs. But special shout out to all of our followers on YouTube Live. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Step 3, made a decision to turn my will and life over to the care of God as I understand him. When I was at Betty Ford, my counselor looked at me and he says, Michael, you will never experience recovery or the freedom that you want until you do step 3. I said, what are you talking about? I go, okay, I believe in God. Check. Just check the box.
Done.
Okay, I just said it. Lip
Yep.
service. You know, here you go. Okay, I believe in God. Check.
Step
Next
4.
step.
Let's do
Step
it.
4. I'm trying to get to the pay window. I'm trying to get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta go do me. I feel better. I've detoxed. Okay, the alcohol and drugs are out of me. I promise I'll never drink and do drugs again. Okay,
Scout's honor.
That's it.
Yeah.
Scout's honor, and I've got this thing. I feel good. I've been away from it for 60 days. I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna go live life. Needless to know that I'm walking back into a sick house with a wife that's full of resentments. Okay, I've got a business to run. That things are happening. Okay, I got to plan cash flow. I got to plan all these things, and what happens? It creates fear and anxiety. Why do I have fear and anxiety? Because I've taken drugs and alcohol out of my life. Now I got this vacuum that's empty. Okay, and I got this battle in my head going, okay, I'm uncomfortable. I can't go to drugs and alcohol to change the way I feel, and I'm definitely not going to go believe in Casper the Friendly Ghost, okay? I don't know what to do here, and now I'm in full-blown relapse, and I eventually go and I drink and drug, and I start using and drinking right where I left off, and a lot of times that's why we have overdoses and deaths, okay? And that's how that happens, and that's another show. But my counselor told me, he says, to experience true recovery, okay, you must do step 3. And what he said to me, I said, I don't want this God deal. He says, let me ask you something. You have been here for 90 days, and all you talk about are your boys, Hudson, Hogan, and Brandon. That's all you talk about are your boys. And you brag about them all the time. You promote these guys like they're the greatest things ever. And I say, I do. I love these kids. I love kids, period. You know what I mean? And once again, we're not bad people. We're sick people, okay? And so I love kids. I love coaching. I love doing all this. He goes, all right, so let me ask you something. If your boys, Hudson and Hogan and Brandon, were just to look at you in the face and flip you off, cuss you out, spit in your face, tell you that you're worthless, they don't believe in you, they want nothing to do with you, and they walk out of the room and never return, and you start going on with life, and you go through the grieving process, and you're sad, and there's a hole in your heart because all you do is think about the times you had with your kids and how you love them, that true love. And he had me completely engaged, and I said, okay, I'm hearing you. He says, now I want you to understand. Let's just say 25 years goes by, and then one day there is a knock on the door, and it's just another day, and you go to that door and you open that door, and there your 3 boys are standing, okay, and they want to come in and talk to you. Are you going to let them in your house? And I said, absolutely yes. Are you going to ask any questions like why? No, I'm just going to let them in, and I'm going to love them unconditionally. And he says, you just described your God. And when he told me that, that planted a seed that obviously I will never forget. All right? And when I came home, I got so knee-deep and more knee-deep into my boys. And all I wanted to do was be the best dad I could be. All right? And needless to say, I stayed dry for 10 years, okay? Because what happened was, Zach, now I look back on it, I was like going, okay, I believe that there's a God, okay? But am I going to surrender and turn my entire will and life over to care of him? Because I want to be a home builder, I want to be a real estate tycoon, I want to do all this stuff, okay? It's not what God wanted me to do, but I did it anyways, all right? I realized that my God was not drugs and alcohol, but my God became my family. Now I'm getting deep here. Y'all ready? The formula that works for me that I have learned that if God is not number 1, I lose everything. I lose everything. All right? On 7/7/17, okay, let me back up a little bit. That story right there is true to this day. I lost my family. I gave my family away. I gave my boys away. Okay, I have not seen my family and those boys for going on 9 years now, nor have I talked to them. But I'm starting to see little signs of the reappearance of the Molthan boys, which are so powerful to me. It is so powerful to me. It drives me, it motivates me to stay clean and sober and to help other people. On 7/7/17, I had a spiritual awakening like no other. And that's where I put the sword down. And I made a decision to turn my will and life over to the care of God as I understand him. Because God, the God that I created, that my perception of my God was this. Come on. I knocked on the door on 7/7/17. I knocked on that door. God opened the door, and I asked if I could come in, and he says, come on in. No questions asked. Okay? Grace. Grace. I was given grace, and what grace is I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. But grace, I've learned, is a result of repentance. All right? It's a result of repentance. When I repent and I say, God, please forgive me. I'm wrong. I can't live this way anymore. The pain is just so bad. When I repent, I'm giving God permission to show his mercy and his grace on me. And I surrendered, I put the sword down, and I was free for the first time in my entire life wearing state-owned clothes, Crocs, socks, incarcerated, sitting on a top bunk. That's where I found my freedom. That's where I found my freedom. And I didn't care what happened from that day forward. I didn't care if I was going to be in prison the rest of my life. I didn't care if I didn't see anybody ever again, because I had one thing, and that was a relationship with God. Now today, because I made that decision to turn my will and life over to the care of God as I understand him, and I ask him to please divorce me from self-pity, I ask him to remove me of the bondage of self. As a result of that, Zach, when I get in fear, anger, resentment, it feels different.
Yeah.
You know why it feels different?
Why?
I got God with me. Okay? Before, when I get in fear, anger, and resentment, when I didn't have God with me, my solution was to pick up the drink, okay, and pour God down my throat. Because that's all I knew. And guess what? After that first drink, it wouldn't take the edge off. That second drink wouldn't take the edge off. The third, fourth, fifth, it never did take the edge off. It just changed my perception of stuff. It just took the resentment and just put it in another file. It was always there, okay? But today, as a result of making a decision to turn my will and life, now I have made my decision to follow God. Then I get to go through and get to learn myself, okay? I can't go do a moral inventory on my immoral behavior without God. If I do, that's called alcoholism. I'm doing it by myself. And left to my own devices, I will fail. All right? And what I want to talk about, we're going to tease this, is that tomorrow we're going to talk about taking an inventory, okay? Cleaning up the wreckage of our past. Oh my God, I don't want to look at that, Michael. I don't want to look at that. We're not looking at it alone. We got God with us. We got that G thing with us, Zach. Why am I tripping? Okay? Because today's no tripping Thursday. And if I'm tripping, you know why I'm tripping?
What?
Because I'm telling God he doesn't know what he's doing.
Ah.
If I'm worrying and if I'm in fear, I'm telling God, God, you don't know what you're doing. And I can't do that. And I have been doing that all night. I didn't sleep at all last night because I'm tripping over the ants. The ants in the ground that I can't even see. I'm worried. I got all this stuff, and I'm worried about the little things. I'm going to end with two things. What is the solution when you're tripping? What is the solution when you're in fear? What is the solution when I'm worried? Is to create a gratitude list. And I did that driving over here today. I did that. I was in a bad place driving over here. I'm fighting through something, and I said, you know what? I'm so grateful for Rachel Stacy. I'm so grateful for Mama P. I'm so grateful for Real News Network. I'm so grateful for Cynthia and Randy Smoot, okay? This isn't a commercial. This isn't promotion. This is real talk. These are people, Frank Morgan, Rim One, Marty Norman Live. These are men who are reaching out to me saying, we love you. We love you. We're watching you. And I'm so grateful for the trials that I'm going through, because as a woman giving birth, when the baby is born, guess what we do? And I'm giving birth right now. I'm giving birth right now. And I'm letting y'all watch me go through this pain to be a voice of recovery, to show you in real life that there is a solution, and it's not drugs and alcohol. Okay? I'm going to end with a story. Okay? The story goes like this. You remember the track runner, Derek Redmond. at the Olympics.
Yeah,
Okay,
right. Derek Redmond.
So Derek Redmond at the Olympics trains his whole life for the Olympics. He comes around the corner and he's running and he's leading the race and he goes down. And I may get this wrong, but I'm gonna get the whole point. He goes down. He pulls a hammy, and he is literally dragging himself to the finish line. Okay. And then up in the sold-out Coliseum, sitting on the top row, comes this man weaving through the people. I mean, he's just weaving through the people. He jumps over the stands, through security, goes up there, and then Derek Redmond looks up, and he goes, "Dad." He says, "I got you, son." He picks him up, he puts his arm around him, and he says, "I'm going to carry you across that finish line." Family, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know where you're at today in your pain, but I'm telling you, you have a powerful God that is watching you. And when you reach out for help, and when you don't even reach out for help, he will weave his way down through all the trash and the garbage, jump the handrail. He'll pick you up, put the arm around his shoulder, and carry you to the finish line. You just have to ask. Tomorrow we'll be talking about moral inventory. Let's clean this trash up.
Yeah.
Let's look up and forward and let's go win. That's Michael Molthan, M2 The Rock. I love you guys. 3 words, 8 letters, 1 meaning. I love you. And man, we're on fire here at M2 The Rock. See you tomorrow at noon. Good night.
3 words, 8 letters, 1 meaning. Let's go.
Came a long way sitting in a prison, thinking it was the only place I'd ever fit in. Now Michael Molthan with us, and you know we got the vision. This is not a competition, man, it's all about the mission. This is M to the rock, you don't stop. The show start on a weekday, right at 7 o'clock. Mad Miles in the booth, we got Johnny on sound. Call Julie the boss lady, let her know what's going down.
This is M to the rock that don't stop. Cause show start on a weekday, right at 7 o'clock. Got the paparazzo, call him Danny Cambo. With the picture, can't pick, every one of them is gold. And that one young lady that wants you to be free. Everybody say it with me. Love you, Mama P. Love you, Mama P.